Now, to explain the suchness of the nature. The nature has the aspects of good and evil. There is good and evil karma, which is the manifestation of the good or evil of the nature. Karma does not arise by itself, however. How does it come into existence? It is produced from the nature. The nature may manifest as good or evil. In China, there is a short work called The Three Character Classic. When children start school, it is the first thing they must learn to recite. It begins, when people are born, their natures are basically good. When we are born, our natures are good to begin with. That original nature is the Buddha nature, however. The nature is near, but habits lead it afar. The nature is basically very near the Buddha nature. Corrupted by evil habits, it grows far away from the Buddha nature. This means that within our hearts there are both good and evil. How do they manifest? At any given time, causes and conditions of different kinds will produce a good or evil nature. For example, bamboo and wood are both flammable, that is, they possess the nature of fire. If you just let them sit there, however, they will not catch on fire. You have to add a condition, a drill, and a stick, or maybe a match to get the fire started. Wood and bamboo both possess the nature of fire, but if no one sets them on fire, they will not burn. Without the necessary causes and conditions, fire will not come forth. For example, before the time of the ruler Hsuan Hua, people in China devoured animals raw and drank their blood, much the way tigers do. Whatever wild creatures they caught, they would beat through and eat raw, and then finish off the feast by drinking their blood. The reason they ate everything raw was that fire had not been discovered yet. It was not until the time of Hsuan Hua that people learned how to drill wood to make fire and to cook their food. In the same way, the good and evil karma that we create depends upon our nature to come forth. The coming forth of our nature may be for the sake of goodness, in which case it is called wisdom light. When you do good deeds, you shine with wisdom light. Wisdom light accomplishes all kinds of wholesome acts. When the nature comes forth for the sake of evil, it is called poisonous fire, and the accomplishments by means of it are what is meant by false conditions. Our natures are basically empty and still, basically non-existent, like the nature of fire present in the bamboo or wood. They have to be set on fire. They will not burn by themselves. Our natures are basically empty, and also good and evil are within themselves. Within them, they manifest only when conditions allow. It is much like the nature of fire as discussed in the Dharma Sutra, where it says, the nature of fire has no self. It depends upon conditions. The fire nature has no self. Fire arises only when the causes and conditions come together. That is the doctrine of the suchness of the nature. The suchness of the substance. The substance refers to our bodies and all material objects. There are three categories of substance. The first is the substance of the common person and the sage. Originally, they are completely equal. The substance is without the common or the sagely. This is to take the principle as the substance, the principle meaning the inherent Buddha nature. Secondly, people may cultivate from the position of a common person and accomplish their way karma. This is to the non-outflow substance which those who have certified to the fruition possess. Thirdly, common people have the illusory shell of the five skandhas, which unites with the four elements to become the body, a substance that has outflows. The suchness of the power. Power here refers to karma power. I told you before that I had a left-home Dharma brother who had studied the doctrines of lecturing on the Sutras. He was always giving lectures. What is more is that he liked to lecture on the eight consciousnesses. According to the Chinese custom, to celebrate the new year, one writes characters on red paper and puts them up on the wall for good luck. The idea is that the letters written with the brush will keep the ghosts and demons away. That year I wrote some characters and said wisdom like the sea. My Dharma brother watched me write the characters. I wrote them very quickly in cursive style and he liked them. He started saying, wisdom like the sea, wisdom like the sea, wisdom like the sea over and over again. I said, it looks to me that your karma power is like the sea. He was outraged. Ha! He stormed. What do you mean my karma power is like the sea? Here it is New Year's and you're insulting me. I said, now don't you get mad. I guarantee you're going to like it, you'll be happy. You tell me that my karma power is like the sea and I'm supposed to like it? I said, as to karma power, there is good karma and there is bad karma. If I said your good karma power was like the sea, how would that strike you? He stared at me. What can I say? He sat and grasped my hand. He did not get angry either. So it only took the addition of one word, good karma like the sea, to make his anger completely disappear. One knows not where it went, but it was gone at once. Would you say this was wonderful or not? One word was all it took. Therefore, one word can be unspeakably wonderful. But you must know how to use it. If you know how to use it, it will be wonderful. If you do not know how to use it, you will run into trouble. Therefore, power here refers to the power of karma. Karma has a substance. From that substance, a power or force is derived which operates in the 10 Dharma realms, creating the dependent and orthodox retribution worlds. What is the dependent retribution world? It is the mountains, the rivers, the earth, houses, vegetation, and the myriad appearances. The orthodox retribution world is all living beings. Where do the two worlds come from? They are both created from karma power. So it says the suchness of the power, the suchness of the function. Function means to do, to make. To make what? To make karma. Making karma, one may make good or evil karma. Creating karma, one must undergo the retribution. If you plant a good cause, you will reap a good fruit. If you plant an evil cause, you will reap an evil fruit. If you do good deeds, you receive good retribution. If you do evil acts, you receive an evil retribution. Therefore, it is all what you make it. Good and evil are two different roads. You can cultivate or you can commit offenses. Cultivate means to cultivate the good. Commit means to do evil. The suchness of the function refers to doing good and receiving blessings or doing evil and receiving misfortune. The suchness of the causes. The cause refers to the minds of all living beings. The mind may be likened to a piece of ground. All good and evil are manifest only from the mind. They manifest from your mind, and so previously we spoke the cause as a seed. The seed is planted in your mind, and so it is called the mind ground. All the grasses and trees are born from the earth, and all good and evil comes from the mind. All the seeds of good and evil planted in your mind are the causes. The suchness of the conditions. There are two factors that go into make up the conditions. The first is the factor of time. The second is the factor of the situation. The condition itself is basically devoid of good or evil, but it must be present for a particular appearance to manifest. This may be compared to something which is withered and dry and which ignites at the first spark. The spark is the aiding condition. It may also be likened to ice which melts when the sun shines on it. The colder it gets, the harder the ice freezes, but when the sun shines, the ice will melt. When you plant a seed in the earth, if the conditions are not right, it will not come up. If you plant a seed on ice, it will not sprout. If you plant it in fire, it will not grow either. You have to plant it in the ground and then make sure the sun shines on it and there is moisture saved from the rain falling on it. These are all conditions. They come together and help the seed to cause growth. The suchness of the effect. To start out on the cause of action is called the cause. If you do something at the very beginning, it is a cause. When the matter has been successfully completed, the completed matter is the effect. The effect is also spoken of in terms of good and evil. Good and evil effects come from good and evil causes, respectively. So it is said, carrying the cause, one realizes the effects. The suchness of retributions. Retribution is the complex of effects incurred as a result of the karma you have created. According to the type of karma you created, you undergo just that kind of retribution. You may ask, what is the difference then between the effect and the retribution? The effect takes place before the retribution is undergone. It is the immediate consequence. One undergoes retribution when the effects have been broken through and one receives recompense. If you planted an evil cause, you reap the effect. Later, you receive the retribution. What is meant by the effect? If we create all kinds of evil karma and fall into hell, that is the attainment of the effect of hell. Once you are in the pot, you are undergoing retribution. Receiving the torments of hell is retribution. If you enlighten to the principle of retribution, you can certify to the positions of the four sagely realms, the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, the heroes, and the conditioned enlightened ones. If you have awakened, you can hope to attain the four sagely positions. If you are confused, deluded, you will bring the retribution of the common realms down upon yourself and end up among the gods, humans, asuras, hell beings, hungry ghosts, or animals. The suchness of the ultimate equality from beginning to end. In the above mentioned suchnesses, there are the two paths of confusion and enlightenment. Whether you are confused or enlightened, from the beginning to the very end, the first through the ninth, when discussed in terms of cause and effect, they are non-dual and ultimately equal. The 10 suchnesses are present in the Buddha realm, but they are very fine and special states. In the house, there are also 10 suchnesses, but they are nothing at all like the Buddha realm states. They are very bad. They are not superior and fine. In fact, they are terrible. The 10 suchnesses existing in each of the 10 Dharma realms make 100 realms. The 10 suchnesses then existing in each of the 100 realms make 1,000 suchnesses. This is known as the 100 realms and the 1,000 suchnesses. The 100 and the 1,000 suchnesses include all of the various situations in the 10 Dharma realms. The Dharma Sutra lists the 10 suchnesses and also I have explained them. I believe you probably do not understand them fully. If you truly wish to understand them, you will have to work harder in your investigation of the Buddha Dharma. After you have investigated it for a long time, you will naturally be able to understand this doctrine. Sutra. At that time, the world-honored one wishing to restate this meaning spoke verses saying, illimitable are the heroes of the world. All the gods and people in the world and all the classes of living beings cannot know the Buddha's powers, fearlessnesses, liberations, and samadhis, and the other dharmas of the Buddhas can be fathomed by no one. Formerly, following countless Buddhas, I perfectly walked on the paths of the wonderful Dharma, subtle and deep, hard to see and hard to understand. Through millions of aeons, I walked down all these paths. In the Bodhimanda, I realized the fruit and have fully known and seen it all. Commentary. Illimitable are the heroes of the world. The Buddhas possess great heroism, great strength, great kindness, and great compassion. No one can measure the states of the Buddhas. All the gods and people in the world and all the classes of living beings cannot know the Buddhas. There is not a single living being that can know the realm of the Buddhas, that can know the spiritual powers and wonderful functions of the Buddhas. The Buddha's powers, fearlessnesses, liberations, and samadhis, and other dharmas of the Buddhas can be fathomed by no one. The Buddhas have 10 wisdom powers, 4 fearlessnesses, 8 liberations, and countless samadhis. There is not anyone who can fathom all the wonderful dharmas of the Buddhas. Formerly, following countless Buddhas, formerly means in the causal ground limitless aeons ago. I perfectly walked all the paths. I cultivated all the Dharma doors of the wonderful Dharma, subtle and deep. The Dharma is extremely subtle and profound. How deep is it? No one knows. Hard to see and hard to understand. This Dharma is difficult to encounter in 100,000 aeons. It is difficult to understand, and so the 4 vast vows run. Living beings are boundless, I vow to save them. Afflictions are endless, I vow to sever them. Dharma doors are limitless, I vow to master them. The Buddha way is supreme, I vow to realize it. In the causal ground, the Buddha made these 4 vast vows in every life and cultivated the way. The Dharma that he realized is not easy to understand. Through limitless millions of aeons, I walked down all these paths. I cultivated the 37 limbs of enlightenment. There are the 5 roots, the 5 powers, the 4 applications of mindfulness, the 4 right efforts, the 4 as-you-will fulfillments, the 7 bodhisattvas, and the Eightfold Path. It is 37. You can also include the 4 truths, the 12 causes and conditions, the 6 perfections, and the 10,000 conducts. In the Bodhimanda, I realized the fruit because I cultivated all these dharmas. In the Bodhimanda, I realized Buddhahood and have fully known and seen it all. I have seen all there is to see, and I know all there is to know. Sutra, the great effect and retribution, the various natures, marks, and meanings are such that I and the 10 direction Buddhas alone can understand these matters. Commentary, the great effect and retribution, supreme right enlightenment, is the great effect. The perfect full reward body is a great retribution. The various natures, marks, and meanings, this refers to the doctrine of the 10 suchnesses, are such that I and the 10 direction Buddhas alone can understand these matters. Only the Buddhas can understand these matters. Sutra. This Dharma can't be demonstrated. The mark of language language being still and extinct, and all the kinds of living beings, there is none who can understand it, except the host of bodhisattvas, firm in the power of faith, the host of the Buddha's disciples, who've made offerings to the Buddhas and who have exhausted all outflows and dwell in their final bodies. The strength of pupils such as these also proves inadequate. If the world were filled with those like Shariputra, who together spent their thoughts to measure it, they couldn't fathom the Buddha's wisdom. Commentary. This Dharma can't be demonstrated. You cannot just casually speak this wonderful Dharma to pupil. Why not? It is because of the mark of language being still and extinct. This is the ultimate real mark Dharma door, where the path of word and language is cut off. It has already been severed. The place where the mind functions has been dispensed with. The mouth wants to speak, but words fail. The mind wants to think, but thoughts are lost. The mind wants to climb on conditions and scheme, but the thoughts just are not there. The thoughts have died as well. The path of words and language is cut off. The place of the mind's functioning is gone. There is nothing to say. The true wonderful Dharma is ineffable. It cannot be expressed in words because it is something within the self-nature. It is not found outside. In this wonderful Dharma, the marks of language are still and extinct. For all the kinds of living beings, there is none who can understand it except the host of bodhisattvas. Firm in the power of faith, not one single kind of living being can understand this wonderful Dharma except for the great vehicle bodhisattvas. It is because the bodhisattvas have hearts full of faith. They can understand the real mark Dharma. People like Bodhisattva Manjushri can understand this Dharma. They may not understand it totally, but they believe in it. The host of the Buddha's disciples who've made offerings to the Buddhas, who have in former lives made offerings to all the Buddhas, and who have exhausted all outflows. They have obtained to non-outflows, certified to the attainments of Pratika Buddhahood, and dwell in their final bodies. They now inhabit their very last retribution bodies. They will undergo further becoming after this. The strength of persons such as these, people like the Bodhisattvas and the Pratyeka Buddhas, also proves inadequate. They cannot understand this Buddha Dharma either. If the world were filled with those like Shariputra, let us suppose the whole world was filled with people who had as much wisdom as Shariputra, the wisest of the Buddha's disciples, who together spent their thoughts to measure it. If they exhausted their thoughts and the power of their wisdom, trying to plumb the depths of the Buddha's wisdom, they could not do it. They could never fathom the Buddha's inconceivable, subtle, and wonderful Dharma. They couldn't fathom the Buddha's wisdom. They would be unable to comprehend the wisdom of the Buddha. Sutra. Truly suppose the 10 directions were filled with those like Shariputra, and that the remaining disciples filled all the lands in the 10 directions, and that together they spent their thoughts to measure it. They also could not know it. If Pratyeka Buddhas of sharp wisdom, without outflows in their final bodies, also filled the 10 directions, their number like the bamboo in the forest, and if they put their minds together, wishing to think about the Buddha's real wisdom, throughout measureless millions of aeons, they could not know the smallest part of it. Suppose newly resolved bodhisattvas who've made offerings to countless Buddhas, who understand the principle and the purport, and are well able to speak the Dharma, whose numbers are like rice, hemp, bamboo, and reeds, filled the 10 direction lands. And suppose one with one mind and with wondrous wisdom throughout the ends like the Ganges sands, they were all together to think it over. Even they couldn't know the Buddha's wisdom. Commentary. The Buddha has two types of wisdom, the provisional and the real. Provisional wisdom is used to speak the Dharma in accord with conditions and to use expedient devices to take living beings across. Real wisdom is genuine, real market wisdom. Truly suppose the 10 directions. Previously, it just said the word, meaning one word. He says the 10 directions, meaning all the worlds in the 10 directions. The infinite boundless worlds of the 3,000 great thousand world system were filled with those like Shariputra. If living beings of the 10 direction worlds were all as intelligent as Shariputra, Shariputra's wisdom, however, is a provisional wisdom. It is not the Buddha's real wisdom, and that the remaining disciples filled all the lands in the 10 directions, and that together they spent their thoughts to measure it. They also could not know it. If Shariputra and all the other disciples spent their thoughts, exhausted their brains, and to calculate the Buddha's wisdom, they could not know it. They could never fathom the Buddha's real wisdom either. If Pratika Buddhas of sharp wisdom, the hearers were spoken of previously, here we speak of the Pratika Buddhas who are a bit higher in wisdom, without outflows. In their final bodies, also filled the 10 directions. They have already attained to the state of no outflows, the penetration of the extinction of outflows, and they dwell in their last retribution bodies. Once one has certified to the fruit of a Pratika Buddha, who is considered the middle vehicle, one does not again receive a retribution body. So, this is their very last retribution body. Their number like the bamboo in the forest. If they numbered as many as the bamboo in the bamboo groves, and if they put their minds together, wishing to think about the Buddha's real wisdom, throughout measureless millions ends, they could not know the smallest part of it. To say nothing of understanding it completely, they could not even know the tiniest, most minute portion thereof. Suppose newly resolved bodhisattvas, who have just brought forth their hearts, who've made offerings to countless Buddhas, who understand the principle and the purport, and are well able to speak the Dharma. They have an unimpeded comprehension of the Buddha's doctrines. Not only that, but they are well qualified speakers of the Buddha, of the Dharma, and possess unobstructed eloquence, whose numbers are like rice, hemp, bamboo, and reeds, filled the 10 direction lands. And suppose with one mind and with wondrous wisdom, if they combined their hearts into one and used that fine and subtle wisdom throughout ends like the Ganges sands, they were all together to think it over. Even they couldn't know the Buddha's wisdom. If they all got together to try to calculate the Buddha's wisdom, they could not do it.